villager, 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 eh.
Musa, tell us how you first got interested in this work of peace building.
Well, maybe before I proceed with that, I really would like to convey greetings of peace and blessings on behalf of the entire URI family in the world. I also want to take this opportunity to thank especially Bishop Bill Swing, the founder of URI, for his vision and action in establishing the United Religions Initiative. Thank you. I also thank all staffs, volunteers, and member organizations of URI in 99 countries for the outstanding work they are doing on the ground, which we may not hear through different medias. I also want to thank all of you, supporters of URI. Without your kind contribution, support, and partnership, we wouldn't be able to do what we are doing on the ground. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
So your work in peace building starts at a very young age. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as we see around the world, there is a lot of crisis, conflict, civil war, and political unrest. And as someone who truly sees himself as well a citizen, I said I should take responsibility. For peace to prevail, each and every one of us has a role to play. With this in mind, I decided to contribute the little bit I can toward creating a culture of peace, justice, and healing. The other reason, we all want to live in a family where there is peace, where there is harmony, in a community, in a village, in a country, in the world. But for that to happen, that peace should begin from us. Especially as Mahatma Gandhi said, we should be the change we want to see in the world. This is also what motivates me to engage in the peace-building effort. But what enhanced more, in 1994, right after the genocide in Rwanda, I went there. And I saw all the bodies on the street. And that really made me also to work day and night in building trust, especially through the teaching of the Golden Rule, which says, treat others the way you want to be treated. Had we have this principle in people's mind and heart, we wouldn't see the genocide that happened in Rwanda. So we shouldn't see another Rwanda from now on. But we need to promote these principles, but above all, we need to walk the talk and live these values. And this is what prompts me to work in the issue of building a culture of peace.
So you were working at the United Nations, and then you came to URI. How did that happen? How did you come to URI?
I was invited in 1995 to be part of the URI meeting at Stanford University. It was actually in 1996. I was so thrilled when I got this invitation, and I said, an idea whose time has come. Because UN is doing a good work, but the missing element was to address the issue of spiritual, moral, and ethical foundation. So here comes URI as a spiritual wing of the United Nations. So I was so thrilled, and I went from Ethiopia all the way to Ethiopia to Stanford University, and I met extraordinary people with vision, commitment. And I remember sitting at the university drafting the charter of the United Religion Initiative. We were nearly about 200 people from different walks of life, from different parts of the world. So the process that began in 1995-96, it took us about 5 years, and finally the charter was drafted. So this is how I get involved in the URI. And since then, I am here with URI.
So many of us here and many of the people that you talk to around the world have never heard of URI or know very little about URI. Why is URI so important to you, and what do you tell them about URI?
Why URI is important to me, and hopefully also to others, it is a platform for people from 4 corners of the earth, from different walks of life, could come together in solidarity to take practical action in creating a culture of peace, healing, and justice. It's not a religious organization, it's a bridge-building organization, building right human relationship, building human dignity, caring for Mother Earth that sustains our life, and creating, above all, a better future for this young generation and generation yet to come, especially children, for whom we need to leave a better legacy. So to me, URI is a collective insurance to create a peaceful world for all of us without leaving anyone behind.
So I've been with you in Africa. I've seen the change that you've brought to regions across the continent. And I've journeyed with you. And tell us a little bit about your work in Africa, and also how I've seen you in meetings with heads of state, and I've seen you in meetings with grassroots people in villages, and you are so comfortable and engaged in all those settings. Tell us about URI Africa, and tell us about why it's important to work at all those levels.
Thank you, Victor. First of all, after the meeting in Stanford, I remember in 1997, we organized the first ever interfaith gathering in Kenya, Nairobi, where we managed to bring about hundreds and so participants from 20 Africa countries. The seed that we plant then now grows to be 200 cooperation circles or organizations in 32 Africa countries. It's not about the number. It's not about how great URI is becoming, but how much it's really bringing an impact in people's mind and heart. And also how much URI is working on the ground as a preventive mechanism. It's time for us to be proactive. Usually we hear much after incident happen. A lot of life lost, property been damaged. We talk about reconciliation, peace building, sending a peacekeeping mission, spending a lot of money. Whereas now through URI, our grassroots organization, are building trust in the first place. What's causing the problem is the fear of the unknown. So that's why it's very relevant and very important. The other thing is now URI become a household name. I don't know here in the States, but in Africa, Asia, to some part also in Europe, but mainly in Asia and Africa, it become a household name. It's highly recognized as a grassroots interfaith organization. Even the United Nations recognize the effort of our grassroots organizations and honor us with the consultative status at the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council. That means the grassroots people effort will be recognized, and this will create a good platform for their voice to be heard directly from them. Also, with the African Union, we have a memorandum of understanding. Just to give you an example, we established a good working partnership with African parliamentarians, and through that, as we speak, we are working with URI Africa to introduce peace education as part of the school curriculum. We are working with the Africa Media Initiative, reaching out to editors-in-chief to major newspapers in Africa, mainly to lobby and introduce clear policy against hate speech. That is a big challenge in different parts of the world nowadays. So this is part of the preventive mechanism that we are doing. We are also joining with UNESCO to promote again a culture of peace and interreligious and intercultural peaceful coexistence. So this is why it is very important. In addition to this, the fact that we are working very closely with different policymakers, we are bringing the voice of our grassroots, getting opportunity for them to be trained and fundraising, but above all, their work on the ground will be recognized and their voice will be heard when our politicians and institutions designing policy, they will consult them. So as a bridge building organization, this is our role, to bring all stakeholders together to work in building a culture of peace. Here I would like to say the issue of peace, social justice, environmental protection, climate change is affecting our life, both people from east, west, north, and south. And this is the issue that we cannot leave only to the United Nations or our respective leaders or religion leaders or the corporate world or the grassroots. This is an effort that we all need to hold hands together to address this issue. URI is coming in as a bridge building organization. It's a platform where we will join hands to bring the change that needs to be taking place so that, as I said earlier on, this generation and generation yet to come will inherit a better future.
Musi, we only have time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We only have time for one more question. We would love to hear the long story about how you humbled Bill Swing by getting to China, but we don't have time for that this evening. Because that doesn't happen very often. But could you just focus for a moment on, as you look ahead, the next 5, 10 years for URI in the world, what final message would you like to offer this evening?
You know, to me, URI is a healing force, and it's happening across the globe. As we are hearing so many challenges and problems, but on a daily basis, I have seen positive change taking place. And again, thanks for our cooperation circle, especially people who are in the grassroots doing the work, but they wouldn't be able to do it without this kind of partnership that we have. So to me, URI is a healing force. It's the pathway to move us from darkness to light, from unnecessary competition to peaceful cooperation, from holding grudge to forgiveness, and from fear to hope. So this is what I would like to say. And China, again, you know, I wouldn't say I have done a miracle. I guess it was an idea whose time has come for China to join us. I was part of the World Public Forum, and I met the Chinese delegation there, and I have been working with them quite for some time. Then finally, they get to know about URI. There was back and forth some communication and visit. They decided to be a member of URI. As we speak, they are actively working now in promoting intercultural dialogue throughout China, and also China with the rest of the world. In other words, enhancing people-to-people relationship. This is what URI is doing, bringing peoples to people together to address their common issue. And finally, I would like to say, with your kind permission, for all this to happen again, the universal ethics, the golden rule, should be something that we need to practice. We need to live on day-to-day basis, to treat others the way we want to be treated. Our world needs this more than ever. Yes, there might be a difference in terms of culture, religion, language, place of birth, but these are trivial differences we have. Whether we believe by creation or evolution, our source is the same. We have the same destiny. Let's work together. May peace prevail in our mind. May peace prevail in our heart. May peace prevail in our family. May peace prevail in our community. May peace prevail in our respective countries. May peace prevail on earth.
Thank you, Musi.
Thank you.
Bonsoir, je suis Vincent Tilly, je viens de F-Guardian Africa. Et j'aimerais vous parler bien de ce que nous faisons en Afrique pour prendre soin des hommes et de la terre. Depuis qu'F Guardian est en Afrique, nous avions eu à faire beaucoup d'activités qui consistent tantôt à planter des arbres. Nous en avions planté au moins 40 000 depuis 2013 et nous avions eu à prendre soin des gens et nous continuons à prendre soin des gens, que ce soit des femmes dans leur communauté, que ce soit des enfants déshérités, que ce soit des enfants scolaires pour les aider, d'autre part à avoir accès à une éducation de qualité, du moins acceptable pour ce qui est des normes à notre niveau. Donc avec F Guardian, nous avons des valeurs qui ont l'homme, qui ont l'humanité au centre. Nous avons l'homme au centre de notre activité. Du coup, tout ce que nous faisons, nous le faisons pour le bien-être des humains. Nous le faisons pour protéger la planète. Parce que la planète, c'est la maison où habitent les hommes. Toutes nos actions concourent au bien-être de l'homme dans sa maison. Je vous remercie.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Oliver, and I'm the youth coordinator of URI Southern Africa. With sending our greetings here from Cape Town, South Africa. Thank you very much to the Golden Rule Project and the Charter for Compassion and the Grandmothers Global Healing Movement and the United Religions Initiative for hosting this incredible webinar of celebrating Golden Rule Day. It's really exciting to be a part of this and to add our voices from the Global South. I'm joined here today with some very special friends, so I'm very excited to have them all on the screen with us today, who are representing two of the cooperation circles that we have in Cape Town, the Cape Town Interfaith Initiative and the Gold Trust, as well as other organizations that they'll introduce and share with you. And they've kindly agreed to join me today in sharing some of their own thoughts and experiences around the Golden Rule and what that means in action. So I'm going to hand over to them to introduce themselves, and Ketanya, maybe we can start with you.
Hi, I'm Kirtanya. I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm representing Cape Town Interfaith Initiative and SAFC, the Southern African Faith Communities Environment Institute, as well as the International Association of Human Values.
Great, thanks, Ketanya. Nadia.
Hi, I'm Nadia van der Skeep. I'm also from Cape Town. I am part of the Cape Town Faith Initiative and the Gold Trust as well.
And Kola.
Okay, so hi, I'm Kola and I'm based in Cape Town. I am part of this Gold Trust, which is giving opportunity to aspiring leaders and helping with the Marlene Silbert schools program.
Yes, I'm so glad. So you mentioned the Marlene Silbert Youth Interfaith Intercultural Program, and we're going to begin with a video from the learners from that program, which is a partnership program between the Cape Town Interfaith Initiative and GOAL, and everybody here on the screen has been involved in the schools program, which is very exciting. So we're going to hear from the learners, some of the learners of this program. They're going to share what the Golden Rule means to them and give a few examples for us. So we're going to start off with that. Here we go.
Hi everyone, we're the learners from the Marlene Silbert Youth Interfaith Intercultural Program. Currently we're on a 5-day camp. We've been learning about everyone's different religions, different faiths, and we've been learning about people's differences in society and in our world today that we've never been exposed to and that we've never learned before.
It basically means to love everyone, treat everyone equally. It's the foundation of what every religion is based on.
The Golden Rule means to me to treat others the way you would want to be treated.
The Golden Rule means to me that you have to respect other people's religion and respect their spaces and their privacy.
It means to me showing love and respect to everyone, no matter the circumstance.
To me, the golden rule is simple. Love thy neighbor. It's like and having respect for people even though you don't know them, greeting them with a smile, doing simple things out of the goodness of your heart.
Basically, it means treating everyone with the respect that they deserve, that we think that they deserve, and that we would like to be treated, and how we would like to be treated.
To show respect to everyone, no matter the circumstances. Everyone deserves happiness.
Here in camp, on our interfaith camp, we all have different religions that we follow, and we respect that and don't judge each other for our differences.
Just saying hi to anybody on the street, something simple like that, just showing love no matter what.
Someone once told me, if you don't have anything to give to, for example, people on the street, then just greet them with a smile. It counts just as much.
Basically, just treating people like I'd like to be treated, because I feel like I deserve that from them because I treat them with that.
Okay, so they've beautifully captured for us the essence of what the golden rule is and the values of respect and love and treating others as you would like to be treated yourself. I'd like for us to give that a little bit more meaning in terms of what comes to mind when we think about the golden rule in a South African context, and ultimately why it's important. We're all young South Africans and have grown up in this country, and so what does the golden rule mean, and why is it important to us in our context? Nadia, would you like to start us off?
I think it's just like the kids have said, genetically it means, very simply put, to treat others as you would want to be treated, and this idea of this common thread that ultimately we are all human, and we feel and we cry and we laugh, and we often focus, and I mean this is a little bit cliche, but we focus so much on what's different, and we often don't look at how similar we are, especially in the context of religions. We focus when we ask, in terms of someone from a different faith, we ask, oh, so what do you do? I do this, what do you do? And there's that line of something different. And we often don't look at, what it is that we do similarly. And in the same way, I think in the context of South Africa, a principle like the golden rule is so important, because we are 24 going on to 25 years of democracy, and there's still a lot of healing taking place. These are people in all different stages of growth and development and transformation. There's a lot of anger still, there's a lot of feeling of defeat even still, and lack of change, even though we are in the process of transformation. And I think the golden rule just puts it into perspective of, there are violent acts in South Africa as well. There's acts of xenophobia, racism, and if you can internalize that and be mindful of yourself and what you feel, like really become mindful of yourself and what you deserve, it makes it easier for you to see what other people deserve.
Yeah, thanks, Nadia. I'm really glad that you've mentioned some of the challenges of this context and the healing that needs to happen. And I think the golden rule, really does offer that opportunity of healing, and it's part of the work that we're all doing in terms of interfaith work of creating the space for people to connect and share. Kola, did that resonate with you? Is there anything you would add to why the golden rule is important in a South African context?
Yes. So to me, I just thought that the golden rule is essential in the sense that it helps you understand the essence of humanity. In that way, I mean, can you hear me properly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that way, I mean, in terms of how humans, or how we are as a person, and how whatever the gender, whatever the economic social statuses, or your faith, you're still the same person and you deserve to be treated the way that you want someone to treat you. And also links to how people or the lack of education can impact in a lot of things that are happening in South Africa, such as xenophobia, the faith, shaming of another person's faith or their gender or how they choose to be, how we choose to choose their life. And then another thing is that how the segregation in South Africa has always been a huge factor, in the sense that there has been laws that were passed whereby Black people, well, in apartheid, Black people were seen as inferior to white people. But then after democracy was opposed or equality was opposed, it is still there in subtle manner, whereby people are not speaking up to it, people are doing it and thinking that it's okay, or people thinking that, still believing that people, or someone in a different color, they are not worthy for respect. People in different faith, they are not worthy for respect because they don't practice the same respect and the same faith as theirs.
I just just maybe to, and it's just this idea, I mean, it's also like Tolo was saying, like it's the essence of humanity, and this, we often think that there's this hierarchy of based on beliefs or based on social status, and ultimately it just comes down to really just humanity and the fact that we are all human and we all crave the same things. We all need to eat, we all need to breathe, and life is just as simple as that, and treating one another with respect.
So we've been having some technical difficulties and seem to have lost Kola, but she was raising some really great points just about the kind of challenges that we face here in South Africa and the importance of the Golden Rule in action in terms of breaking down those stereotypes and prejudices and all the things that create that social divide in our society, which is really around this idea of care for others. And now I know one of the other themes of the Golden Rule Day is care for our planet. And Ketanya, that's something that I know you're incredibly passionate about. And so from your perspective and the work that you're doing, could you share a bit around how you see the Golden Rule playing out and connected to this idea of care for the planet?
Yeah, of course. So it's interesting because the background I come from is a mix of science and spirituality. So between the two, conservation of our environment and being a person living by spiritual law or divine law is something that's very interesting that actually fits in really well with each other. So as we mentioned, there are four major themes in practicing the Golden Rule. And the first, they all link very closely in order to arrive at how we use them together. And I think the first one is care for self, which is so important. I mean, one of our biggest global peace leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, says, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And there's a saying in Sanskrit that says, "Aham Brahmasmi," which means the same divinity that runs through me runs through you. So we are made of the same essence. If I'm composed of the same divinity that we speak of, worshipping, ultimately I should start with respecting and loving myself, and that should then help me to express myself from that space of love, compassion, and understanding in order to be truly fulfilled and to be living ultimately from that space. So then I think that leads on to caring for others. So when we start to care for others, it comes from that space of self-love, respect, tolerance, understanding. And it means extending this love and care to others, moving from selfishness to selflessness. And this means extending our circle of compassion. So moving from me to my family, my friends, my colleagues, my community, my faith, to other communities, other faiths, other people, other families, other animals, and so on, until you get to caring for your entire planet. So that then lends itself to caring for animals, which is the third major theme. And there's a principle in Hindu philosophy known as ahimsa, and ahimsa loosely translates to non-violence. So this means non-violence in action, non-violence in thought, and it includes treating animals with the same respect as you would treat a human being. So all beings are ultimately divine and are on this planet for a purpose. And so we all have a role to play in what we call a divine creation. So ultimately, animals are not just pets. To some people they might be, but imagine treating all the world's animals as if they're our pets. So that's how I like to think of it, and extending that circle of compassion to from mine to ours. And then that lastly leads to caring for our planet. This is extremely important, as the planet is ultimately our home. It's a universal home. No matter what color we are, no matter what we believe, what we practice, we're all sharing the same home at the end of the day. So in your house, for example, you're not exactly throwing rubbish around your living room. In the same way, we need to think of the planet. Why are we polluting the home that we live in? We save our own energy, but when we think about the world and its non-renewable energy sources, for example, we're not conserving the energy of our planet. So we need to extend the same self-love we would for ourselves and the people we love to the planet as if it was our own. We need to not be wasteful and appreciate our shared resources. In this way, it can be fair for everyone. So I think ultimately bringing those four together, the more we are at peace with ourselves, with each other, the more we respect others and treat them as our own, we see less division, less difference, less otherness. So ultimately, we then get the opposite of that, which is unity, connectedness to people and to our planet. And ultimately, I think that's the recipe for peace. If we're composed of the same thing that our environment is, we are entirely a reflection of our world around us, and similarly the world is a reflection of our inner state. So we need to work together with those two in order to apply the golden rule to the planet and people, and I think that feeds off each other ultimately.
Thanks, Katanya. Yeah, you've really painted a beautiful image of this kind of growing circle of compassion, you know, starting with yourself and moving outwards to the planet, and that takes courage, and that takes, you know, bravery in terms of stepping into new spaces that are maybe unfamiliar and trying new things, and stepping out of one's comfort zone. And I'm wondering if this idea of stepping out and stepping into different comfort zones is something, Nadia, that you could speak to just in terms of our schools program and the work that we're doing with young people around some of what the golden rule looks like in action when we're talking about interfaith work.
So I think I'm going to share a story just in terms of stepping out of your comfort zone, and in terms of, and then I'm going to link it to vulnerability. I think it was Will Smith who says the best thing is waiting at the edge of your comfort zone or is waiting past that angst, and that's at the edge of your comfort zone. The golden rule ultimately, for me personally, I mean, there's different ways that you can word it, but ultimately it's just respect. The blanket term is respect for yourself, and that's where it really starts. And my understanding of the golden rule, really, because we sometimes think that service and this concept of humanity is only doing something for others, and we forget how important that groundedness of self, and how important it is to get you to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself and you don't understand yourself, and you don't understand that constantly building and working on your character and fighting your own demons and facing them, that's one of our biggest battles. And once you conquer that, you'll feel that your capacity grows. And I feel that people often are scared to face themselves first, and that's where you actually find you're the most vulnerable. And just in terms of, again, we did the facilitation training, and it was an exercise of sharing something that was difficult, and what that showed is your ability to look internally. And once you do that, you'll feel how much your capacity just grows, and that you'll get a new understanding of, like, the respect for yourself. because it's also once you get to know yourself. I personally always thought that focusing on yourself and filling my own cup was selfish, like Tanya mentioned, stepping out of this thing of selfishness to selflessness. But it's very different being mindful and working on yourself to just taking for yourself. And I think that is something that the world needs in terms of healing. Is there's a lot of trauma, and I can speak from a South African context, and in terms of camp, things that we shared there. These kids are 15, but some of these stories, I think some of them have gone through things that most adults over the world will never go through. And it's just the nature, I think, of the South African context. I mean, we say we're the Rainbow Nation, and again, it's that idea of that we're all different, but we can come into this melting pot of creating something really beautiful if we acknowledge our differences, but we also embrace and respect our similarities as well, to form something, to form one bigger picture. I don't know if that answered your question, Zed.
No, that's perfect. And I mean, it reminds me of that idea that, I always hold on to in terms of our, outer world is a reflection of our inner state, and how you've brought out how important that, care for self is as a starting point to be able to then care for others, and particularly in terms of the South African context and the need for healing and transformation to happen. Okay, so we have caller back. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Sorry about those technical difficulties. Nadia was just reflecting on some of her experiences of having worked in interfaith spaces and really seeing the Golden Rule in action in terms of the importance of self-care and learning about yourself to be able to be there for others. I'm wondering, for you as a facilitator of the GOAL program and the Marlene Silbert Schools program, what have been some of your learnings around the seeing the Golden Rule in action?
Thank you guys for having me back, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. One thing that I can think about on the top of my head is how the Golden Rule is like a butterfly effect. When we taking a child from camp and for like 7 days, if not less, and how that is affecting them when we meet them like a year after, how they spoke to your mom about it, their mom spoke to your aunt, or them speaking to their friends or anyone on the bus, and how that thing is just mainly spreading around is how we intend to do, and how people just come out of their shells when they close off initially. They come to camp with the narrow-minded mentality, and then how what they think is what is right, and not trying to convince them, but to try to show the other side of the life of how things, other people look at other things, and understanding that is how people view the world is how we put out ourselves into the world. One of the main things that I think of is how the cultural differences religious differences, where one religion believes a certain way, does certain things a certain way, and is not allowed to be in any circle within other religions, but then not to break someone's religion or to bend some religion, but also to understand through education that someone else from another region is the same person, is a human, and deserve as equal respect. And the same as how gender is looked at. If someone's to live their life in a certain way, before camp they were closed off and they wanted to escape reality, and how they don't have to escape it, because the world that they live in is their reality, and how they should embrace themselves in whatever way that they are, and whoever way that they are, and then that's okay. You know what I mean? So to me, those things, when I see a participant bumping into them in the street, in the shopping mall, and just talking about them, they like, oh my God, you know what? I came back to my mom and I told them about this and that, and then my mom said and shared to my aunt, and those kind of things, as a reason why I keep coming back, because it is spreading as how it should be, and people are understanding that we are not trying to change anyone, but trying to educate people on how the world would be a better place without judgment, without any prejudice, and without xenophobia, racism, and things like that that are breaking our community and causing segregation in South Africa as a whole.
Thanks, Paula. Yeah, you really highlighted the broadening of perspectives that can happen and the possibility for that, which is really beautiful. Katanya, what about you from your experiences? What would you say in terms of a learning that is, seeing the Golden Rule in action in the interfaith work that you're involved with?
So I think one thing we've been doing at Cape Town Interfaith Initiative is something called Sacred Connections, which is quite interesting and new to us, since it's kind of it's an interfaith service, something we would probably never heard of, but bringing multiple faiths together on the last Sunday of every month to share in their teachings, their beliefs, their stories, and basically what they believe in, what they practice, in order to give others an opportunity to understand their world. And this ultimately fosters tolerance, respect, understanding, and allows us to gain insight into the world of others. And from an interfaith perspective, that's ultimately a path to peace building and acceptance, especially in a country as diverse as South Africa, going back to the first point. But we are so rich in culture, tradition, religion, all kinds of differences in one country, and to be able to celebrate that in these spaces rather than to worship separately, but to share in that is something I think has been quite interesting and enriching for everyone who's attended. And I think another experience of mine, which is a practice, but through the International Association of Human Values, delving into knowing yourself is something that we spoke about. And generally, the techniques that are used, things like yoga and meditation, go beyond belief, religion, race, and color. And so it's just debunking these kinds of myths, that there's so many techniques and riches from all the world's religions that we can bring together that everyone can benefit from. No one owns it, and you don't have to live a certain life to learn from all these practices. But ultimately, for example, the practice of breathing is something that's in common with all of us. It's the string that runs through us as human beings. We all breathe. And what we say is the practice of breathing connects the outer world of activity with the inner world of silence. And often we forget that link. And this ultimately helps to connect us with ourselves, with others, with the environment, with the planet. And it enables peace from within. It allows it to start with the self. And I've experienced this in communities, in gang-ridden areas, places of poverty, professional environments, campuses, from the richest to the poorest. It's something that I see has really helped enable the Golden Rule, whether they know it or not. And it fosters this clear mind, free from judgment, enabling human values at the end of the day, enabling human values to flourish and spread into the world, and ultimately to reduce these acts of violence, to reduce poverty, and to allow peace to spread through people and through the world, through their actions and their thoughts.
Thanks, Katanya. You're so right in that, Golden Rule Day is just one day of the year, but it's something that is happening every day and all the time in terms of our daily interactions, and the possibility for that is really endless. And I think what I've really enjoyed about our discussion is that we've highlighted some of the real challenges of doing this work and of enacting the Golden Rule in a South African context, but at the same time the real possibility that exists for that kind of deep connection and love and respect and empathy that can exist between people of such diverse backgrounds. So if I had to ask you what your one wish for Golden Rule Day was for the world, in one or two short sentences, what would that be? Should we start, Katanya?
Yeah, so for me, I'd say that the two major values I think that's at the root of this is compassion and kindness. So just having that and trying to cultivate a little more of that every day, I think would make everyone's interactions a lot more peaceful.
Perfect. Nadia?
Yeah, I think compassion and kindness is a good one, and also just respect, but also to really know and to face yourself. To build, for people to build on themselves, and watch and foster, feed that good wolf within them, to foster those good and nurture that human side or the human qualities.
Thanks, Nadia. Kola, your one wish for Golden Rule Day.
To nurture humanity and to give love and respect to everyone, to all your surroundings.
Perfect. And yeah, I would add the practice of listening and compassionate listening as my wish for Golden Rule Day. So we're going to hear now again from the learners of the Marlene Silbert Youth Interfaith Intercultural Program as they share their wish for Golden Rule Day.
I wish everyone would just take a moment to be aware of like everyone's situation and to be more empathetic towards certain people.
My wish is that the world could all respect each religion, no matter what religion you are, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, and live in peace and harmony.
Spread the love. You don't know what the person next to you has gone through. Just be kind to them.
My wish for the Golden Rule Day is, well, it's for the future, is that we all live in peace and harmony.
My wish for Golden Rule Day and every other day is that we just, like I said, we just spread love and smile more and just make the world a happy place.
My wish for the Golden Rule is let your neighbor's loss be your loss and your gain, let it be your neighbor's gain.
I just wish that everyone can live with peace and live with one another with no conflict, and everyone can just be happy.
There we go. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this conversation. I'm going to ask Katanya to close for us with a blessing or a chant. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Sanskrit prayer that's usually said to close. It usually closes any worship. So it's quite fitting. I'll also read the translation to you. Om Dyo Shanti Antariksha Gwam Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Roshadaya Shanti Vanaspatya Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Shama Shanti Redi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Unto the heaven be peace, unto the sky and earth be peace. Peace be unto the water, unto the herbs and trees be peace. Unto all the gods be peace, and unto all be peace. May we realize that peace.
Thank you so much. And on that beautiful note, we're wishing everybody a very happy Golden Rule Day all around the world. And sending lots and lots of love.
Come on, dance, show me now, God and now.
poverty has bothered me a lot, whereby many people die of starvation. Many people not only die of starvation, but also cannot afford a balanced diet. Come to think of it, 75% of Kenya is arid and semi-arid, whereby cactus and baobab grow with less difficulty. I plan to lead a team of scientists where they can come up with crops likened to the growth of cactus. For example, maize, sweet potatoes, beans produced with very little water. How do I do this? I will lead a team of botanists for plant study, medics to check safety, environmental experts for environmental safety, and fellow children for change. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? Join me in this journey of food security, sustainability for a better Kenya.
Ocean Primary School, Design for Change Club. Yeah!
As you are going to be watching the video, this is the way how we recruit our children from where they are up to Smile Africa. So thank you so much for everyone who has supported this trip, and we are calling everyone to come and support it and support us so that we can save lots of children.
Twebaza omukisa ogutuweereddwa Smile Africa okutwala abaana bano okusinziira ku famire yaabwe nga bweri. Famire eno nga bwe mugirabye, omukadde oyo yasigaza abaana, taata waabwe yafa, abaana abo bakyali bato. kati mukati nabanga abanoonya wano nawalira abafunirako okulya naye nga tesobola nakunoonya sente zikola ki zibatwala mu masomero.
Bazzukulu bange tataabwe yanfaako nga bato nga tesirina buyambi kati nayagoba yanfunira omukisa ne mujja ne munoonya abaana bange ne bafuna obuyambi bali tebakyasoma nga bali bakera nga sena sente zigenda baweerera nakubalabirira nga sirina busobozi.
Tebaza nnyo omukisa guno oguzze olw'okutwalako abaana bano Cyrus Matovu ne Joseph Kajooga. Ekitongole ekyo okubalabirira tweyanza nnyo tweyanze.
Nsinga nnyo nsiimidde ddala okundabira ku baana bange bamulekwa enfuuzi neyanziza nnyo neyanzike Mukama bongere omukisa.
Supported this trip, and we are calling upon you to support more trips that we shall be making in 2019. Let's do it together. I can't do it alone. We can do it together. So thank you so much. Our inbox is open, our website is open, anytime, any day. Send us a message, we shall reply. May God bless you.
Thank you everyone who are watching us. My name is Geoffrey Manasseh. I'm coming from Lilongwe Population Circle, and also an interfaith leader in Malawi, as well a coordinator of URI in Malawi. You're gonna hear many things from our ambassadors since we are here having a training for 3 days to look into how we're gonna strengthen each other in terms of child marriage and other things. According to me, when I go through the Golden Rule, I've been seeing a lot, and the only big thing which is there is like on a love. So there is a word to say you don't do something harm to your friend of which you feel like if they do the same to you, you feel pain. So in many cases we encourage each other to do something like that, also to value Golden Rule as we value other faiths.
Hello, my name is Dorothy Kaitela from Brand City, that's in Malawi. Okay, I want to share with you with the Golden Rule. Actually, the Golden Rule, to my own perspective, it means treating people the same way, which I will be comfortable to be treated, how I will be comfortable to be treated too. For example, in our CC, we give some basic needs to the needy, which I will be comfortable to see if my grandmother is being given some basic needs which they lack, so they can have a happy life. That's how I understand the Golden Rule, how it means. Yes.
Hello, chamo-me Edgar, Welo, sou moçambicano e, alusivo a essas datas, queria deixar uma mensagem. Esta mensagem que eu quero deixar para qualquer aquele que estiver a ver esse vídeo, dizer que todos nós somos iguais perante a Deus. Todos nós somos perante ao único que criou este mundo. Por esta razão, um dos dons gratuitos de Deus é amor, é a paz. E esta paz e amor, juntos, construímos um mundo melhor.
Hi, I'm Nelly from Lilongwe City, that is the central part of Malawi. I'm concerned with the issue of child marriages. So I wish that we should work together as people of different religions. We should work together to deal with this issue regardless of our religions. As we understand that in all these religions there's that concept of love. For example, there's that aspect of saying that you have to do to others what you wish them to do to you. So we should work together to deal with this issue globally. Thank you.
I am G.K. Sundaram, Lilongwe CC. I am representing Hindu community in Lilongwe. I am very much impressed with the URI Golden principles. It includes all the good works of all the religions from all over the world, and it brings all the people in one umbrella for unity and humanity. There, I wish to share, being a Tamilian, I also seen a quote for Tamil. That quote I wish to read in the same language, in Tamil. Inna enathan unarndavai tunnamai vendum pirargat செயல். It means we should not do which as we feel which is harm to us to others. So we see similar quote from other religions too. So this shows that all the religions converge to same thought. With that, I wish to conclude. We are happy to work with URI from Lilongwe. Thank you.
My name is Jenny Mead from Lilongwe, that's the central region of Malawi. I'm here to talk about the regions, that there should not be difference
in all religions, because unity is good to everyone. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Kombo Banda from Nkarabe, that's the northern part of Malawi, that's Nkarabe CC. Yeah, watu Malawi nkani everyone mbili nkani upana ndikusowesa albino. So ineyo ngati nkhani ya the golden rule kunoko ku Malawi somwe ngofuna ngwana ndikuwafunira nzathu amene wawa zabwino zonse chifanawo ndi anthu ali ngati mene ndili ineyo kusiyana kwa khungu sizoti kuti ndife anthu osiyana ayi tonse ndife anthu mene wina aliyense alili nde ndikuwafunira zabwino zonse ende ndikupanga zoti ndikumema anthu tonse tilimbikisane mchiduliro umene ukuti uthe Malawi muno woti kupha anzathu achaubino ndi kusowesa anzathu achaubino wina aliyense amafuna moyo ngati mene ndimafunira ifeyo nde ndikuwafunira zabwino zonse kufunira moyo wautali. Thank you.
Yeah, as a Lilongwe Cooperation Circle, we actually specifically look into one faith, particularly every year, to wish them all the best. But for this year, we are looking for the Rastafarians, our friends who are just within our community. These people, you know, they are still having struggle to have a space in terms of education angle because the government is not flexible enough to give them space to go to school with a dreadlocks. You know, so their students, their children, they are not having a space in Malawi. So we kneel down and wish them all the best as they are pushing to have a space in the public society, you know, to have what is necessity in the country. So myself plus the whole CC of Lilongwe, we are focusing on them. As we did last year, we wish all the best to the Hindu community. Thank you.
My name is Florence Chilanga and I'm from Mangochi, Malawi. That's the eastern part of Malawi. The golden rule is so much important and I find it so important because it teaches us to do no harm to others. And I think, in my opinion, that it is something that the whole world needs to follow because I know if everyone is going to follow it, then there's going to be peace in the world. I have seen so many circumstances where people portray love, like people taking care of the sick, sharing whatever they have, maybe taking care of the orphans. All those to me are some of the things that show me that really doing good to others would bring a life and a smile in someone's life. So let's all observe this rule and let's use it so that we can have peace. Thank you so much. Happy Golden Rule Day.
Happy Golden Rule Day.
Happy Golden Rule Day.
Happy Golden Rule Day.
Emmanuel Ivogba works for URI as the Regional Coordinator for Western Africa. His office in Nigeria is located in a country struggling with poverty, lack of education, and opportunities for young people. The entire country is confronted with horrific acts of violence caused by extremist groups like Boko Haram, Ansaru, and others, kidnapping, murder, terrorism. Amidst it all, Emmanuel works to help bring people of all religions together to tackle these issues.
The heart of humanity beats the same. There is truly no difference between one human being or another. The differences are artificial. We only make them up.
URI regional staff like Emmanuel are key to URI's ability to directly confront violence and create peaceful dialogue and collaborative action by bringing diverse communities together. In a region where children are being kidnapped and murdered by terrorist groups, URI brings youth of all religions together to build peace, celebrate diversity, and lead their communities toward achieving peace. This work is extremely dangerous.
And we had over 100 people killed here. You can see the impact of the devastation even on the roof. It was a terrible incident.
2 years ago, one of Emmanuel's students was murdered by a terrorist bomb. The bombing led to violent confrontations between Christians and Muslims. In response, URI intervened and worked with Christian and Muslim leaders to negotiate terms for the creation of a peaceful marketplace where people of all faiths can sell their goods side by side. URI's direct efforts prove that peace is not only possible, it proves that peace is more powerful than the violence of religious extremism.
No man is an island. We can only be successful as much as we are working in a team.
Kids Africa now. Oh, 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 bound the beats. Abi. I love your Africa, yeah. Part of Africa. I love your Africa, yeah. Africa now. I love your Africa, yeah. Part of Africa. I love your Africa, yeah. I'm an African, I was born to dance and singing. Sit Africa, you are my mother and me. Come to Africa, enjoy our Africa, yeah, yeah. Start dancing like this, my Africa, like this, Ogunda. I love your Africa, yeah. Part of Africa. I love your Africa, yeah. Africa now. I love your Africa, yeah. Part of Africa. I love your Africa, yeah. In Africa, twina weze gombesa. Obunyonyo bunina kale nungi esikiliza. Tuli mama toka ya mere ya feno kulunda. In Africa, twine nyanja wa munemiga. Wamakona, wamachusa. Oluwachu watishogonda. Wamachusa, nyolo 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 nyola. Ogondo gondo gondo gonde chwatogan.